Hello and welcome back to DriveDriverDriven. I'm Humble, and well, there's a couple things going on today. It's the beginning of June, and if you've been following me for, well, a little bit longer than 4 years, you know that I tend to do my hair up for Pride, so our Pride Mohawk is back in all its vibrant color. It usually sticks around until it fades out and gets chopped out, so get used to it. The second thing is I took the Zero out for a drive today, and well, things didn't end up like I wanted them to. Well, like no one wants them to. Wasn't filming, really didn't think it was going to be that interesting. The one time I don't have a camera on the car is when things go sideways, and well, I blew the motor up. Didn't feel out of the ordinary. I stopped for fuel at my usual stop in Saratoga. Everything seemed fine there. As I made my way up the mountain, engine started making some noise, and sure enough, sounded like rod knock to my ears, and pulled off to the side of the road where I could, where it was safe. Tried to turn the motor over by hand and it wouldn't budge, and it actually blew the fuse for the starter. So that's where we're at right now. Now, if you've been following along with the Zero project, you'll know that I actually built this motor. It started off as a $400 base engine sourced from eBay. It was pulled from, I think it was a 2006 Ford Focus. We went through and we rebuilt the motor bottom to top. We checked all the clearances. We went through it, basically blueprinted the entire engine. In one of my notebooks, I actually have everything written down. And while this is suboptimal, as you would say, I am interested to see what did fail. Now, I have been going through a number of fueling issues, and the engine has run lean quite a lot because of that. It is a higher compression engine. I think it's like 11.3 to 1, give or take. And normally with a naturally aspirated engine, it's less bad. It's still bad, I'll say, but it's not as typically catastrophic as it would be in, say, a turbo engine. But things can still go wrong when you run naturally aspirated engines lean. Typically, it would be on the top end. It would be melting a piston or a ringland or something like that. So I'm really curious to see what the issue is going to be. Now, I just pulled the bodywork off. I haven't done much else. So I'm going to set the camera up in time lapse, and we're going to see how far we can get into this today. So here we go. So I think this is where I'm going to call it a night. We've got just about everything that needs to come off of the motor in order to pull it. Normally on a 7, what you'll do is you'll pull the entire engine and transmission assembly out together. When we put the engine in the car, we sort of cheated a little bit, and we put the trans in first and then the motor in second. And I'm going to try to pull it out the same way, is pull just the motor by myself and see if I can separate it from the transmission easily enough. That way I don't need extra hands and I can get this yanked out on my own. As far as gotchas, there aren't any holes in the block. I don't see any obvious signs of like reversion or anything like that, like messed up valves, etc. I did find some garbage in the oil. I'm not sure how well this is coming out, but with any engine failure, there was a lot of iron filings attached to the magnetic drain plug. So I imagine we're going to find quite a bit more of that in the pan and probably the rest of the bottom end. I have my suspicions that it was a big end bearing that went, but we'll see what the motor tells us. Last but not least, while I have actual video going and not time lapse, I want to cut open the filter and see what we can find. So let me set up the camera really quick and we'll open up the filter. All right, so if you haven't seen one of these, this is a filter cutting tool, and the way this works is we're just going to open it up, make sure that we can get our filter in there. But if you've used a brake line cutter before, it works very similarly. Get a little more grip, and you just keep cinching it down and turning the filter to slowly cut through it. And then let's see what treasures await us inside. There we go. Well, it's hard to see with black gloves, but not seeing any big chunks there. That was a piece of towel. And again, it's a bit hard to see. And again, apologize. Black oil, black filter, black gloves. Leaves a lot to the imagination. I'm also not seeing super big chunks in here. I can see a little bit that came out of the can, so I know there was something that went through. So inconclusive. There's a little bit in there, but not the amount of debris that I was expecting. So not much to look at yet. There's hints of what took place inside the motor, but we don't know the culprit just yet. I need to work quickly though, because I want to get this car back up and on the road. Fingers crossed the head is okay and that everything's contained within the short block. Short blocks are easy to do, easy to find, and easy to rebuild. I would rather not have to source a whole new motor right now, especially because there's a new project on the way. So expect a couple more videos about this. I want to get them out rapid fire. I know I haven't posted a lot recently, and that's again down to kind of work and travel. But for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be at home. So I'm actually going to have some time to work on the motor, work on the car. We can diagnose this together, find out our root cause, and get the new motor back in and the car back on the road. And I want to do that ASAP because we have a new project on the horizon. Some of you have already seen hints here and there on my Instagram at DriveDriverDriven. If so, it's kind of mum for the moment, just our little secret, you and everyone watching this. So for now, hang tight, and we'll get this motor rebuilt and get her back on the road. So thank you guys for watching, and I guess we'll see what's in the motor next time.